Hobby family? This is your boy K-Dub, and this is K-Dub's High Five. 5 rapid fire questions with your favorite hobby faces. And my friends, it is official. We have hit 100 episodes of the High Five. Yes, season 4, and we just crossed the 100 episode timeline. I can't believe we've done this 100 different times. So on the 100th episode, we are going to flip this around. And I'm actually going to be taking on the High Five for myself, bringing in my very first guest to the High Five, Tyler Murphy at Hey It's T-Murph on Twitter. T-Murph, are you ready to give me the high five?
I think the question is, are you ready to get the high five?
I am absolutely 100% ready to take on my first high five ever. Let's make it happen, man. Hit me with my first question.
All right, let's do it. Question number 1. Let's give us a picture of who you feel like you are in the sports card world. I think like a lot of people have a lot of ideas about who you are, but who do you think you are? What is your role, or what do you think you're known for in the social media hobby?
Man, I've asked this question. I started this question in season 3, and I've thought about it for myself, and I still don't know that I have a real answer for this. So I'm going to try my best to kind of give you some different things of who I feel like I am. I feel like I'm an engagement facilitator. I don't seek like engagement for myself, but what I really like to do is I like to create spaces for people, especially on Twitter, to kind of share their cards, their lives, their stories, their card stories with the community. And so what I really like to do is just create threads, create posts that allow people to jump on and share those stories, because sometimes I don't think people just like posting things for themselves. But if they are doing that along with the community, I think that is more inviting for them, especially for people who are a little bit kind of more gun shy to put themselves out there, post stuff on their accounts. I think I'm also like, I don't know, maybe call it like a community enhancer. I really like the idea of building community within the sports card world. So simple things like, the racks, getting people together to get a nice item, nice PC item for a person, as well as like we've done the hobby Christmas videos, we've done the hobby wrap videos. All those I feel like enhance the community, and it's about the community. Yeah, I'm putting it together, but I really like the idea of the community being brought together. And then, man, I think I'm a 90s collector. I love 90s sports cards. I love sharing 90s sports cards. I love talking about 90s sports cards. So I think that's a big piece to who I've kind of become, is not the 90s guy, but, the 90s appreciation guy. I love 90s sports cards. I love the look of them. I love the design of them. I love the idea of the 90s. And so, yeah, I think if I was to sum up who I am as far as the social media hobby, those would kind of be the pieces that I bring.
Yeah, and I think your 90s on 9 thread is just a perfect like picture of everything you are. That's just that one really nice snapshot that you're facilitating,
Mm.
you're encouraging collaboration, and you're adding that 90s piece to it that seemingly a lot of people on X are beginning to embrace and really love. So it's a really cool thing, every ninth day of the month
Yep.
we do a 90s. So yeah, it's awesome, and it's really, the cards are really awesome to see. So you
It's
bringing
fun.
that together.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like the 90s, I, I feel like is really coming back. And I feel like a lot of people, maybe your wife is part of the reason why, that just her constantly sharing that. I think people are realizing like what a good thing we had in the 90s. And so if we can, bring together a thread, and shout out to Money TM one and Nick Perry, they kind of helped me kind of create that idea, because I didn't want to do another card thread. I wanted to kind of find a niche that maybe wasn't getting hit, and the 90s on 9 has been really successful and a lot of fun. So
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
yeah.
So you drop some names with the card threads. So what I want to know is, when you think about the hobby collecting journey for you, who would you credit as some of your biggest influences along this journey that that you're on?
Yeah, and I know I've shared it many times, but I got to go back to my dad. My dad was a huge piece. My dad was not a collector. He didn't collect cards, but he knew that I loved sports. And in fourth grade, my parents went through a separation period where they actually were living apart. And on the weekends, I would go to my dad's, and he would take me to a card shop, not for himself, but for me to be able to look through cards. He would buy me a couple packs or a couple cards. And so I definitely think my dad is to credit. My parents reconciled their marriage. They're still together to this day. So that's super win, and then got me hooked on cards. So I would definitely credit my dad as that. And then as I got into middle school, this guy named Jason Phipps, he'll never watch this. I don't even know what he's doing these days. Last time I heard of him, he was actually still involved in sports cards. He was doing box breaks. But him and I started really, I don't know, trading, going to card shops together in middle school. And so he had way cooler cards than I had, because he had a lot more money to spend than I had. It was fun to be able to kind of network with him and learn how to trade and go to card shops together. And then I think I just got to credit like the hobby community of Twitter or of X. Guys like you, guys like Jimmy Mahan, Jimmy Guns, Craddy, T Cove, Eloy the Goat, Javier Solis, Plowman, Coker. I could go on and on with dudes who really like showed me the way to collect cards. I'd never heard of an idea of collecting one player and only one player until I met Craddy and Coker and their super PCs with Crowder and Hackenberg. And so those guys, Jimmy Guns and I made our first trade on Twitter. I didn't even know people were still trading cards. And, Jimmy Guns and I made a trade on Twitter. And so guys like you introducing me kind of that rack idea, Jimmy Mahan, being able to talk cards with him, like where his cards are up here and mine are down here, but to be able to share in that community of the hobby. And the list goes on and on of guys who I could credit as far as people who really influenced me in collecting. But the hobby community of Twitter or of X, I would say, is probably the biggest piece to my hobby journey.
Sure. If you weren't named there, just know Kyle has a heart for you too, especially if you've been involved in a racket. There's just so many good people
Yeah,
that have
we
have
could go Hecker, Che. We could just keep spitting them out.
right.
Shrek.
But
Yeah.
that defeats the purpose of the rapid fire that we
Yes,
kind of aim for
exactly.
with the hobby high five. So you taught, when you started collecting with your father and going on with your friend in high school, and even to this day, there has to be one card that stood out more than any as your grail card, the card that you've always wanted. So be it you saw it in that card shop when your dad took you, or it's just something you've seen on Twitter yesterday.
Yeah.
What is that grail card for you that you want for your personal collection, and why?
All right. So this is gonna be longer than a one word answer here. I would love a Jordan rookie. And you shared on your high five. I would love a Jordan rookie. But I think personally, I think I would like a Jordan auto over a Jordan rookie. So I would love a Michael Jordan autograph. I don't really care what it is, but if I had to pick, I think it'd be really cool to get him in the 45 jersey because
Yeah.
I collect the 45 jersey MJ. And I saw one at National, and the guy was like, yeah, man, it's 18. And I was like, oh, 1800. Oh, that's sounds like maybe reasonable. And he was like, no, 1,000. I was like, okay, so that really would be the grail for me because there's no way I'm getting that card anytime soon.
Right.
But I do have two kind of realistic grails that I would love to get. Number one is the 98.99 Skybox Premium Soul of the Game MJ. You know what card I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's got Soul of the Game in the background. It's got MJ's image. It's in like bright colors. It's 90s print.
Very nice.
Yeah, very 90s. It's a true 90s card. So that one would probably be like the grail, realistic grail for me. And then if I was to say my real grail, like maybe I can get is the 96, 97 Topps Sticky Fingers Jordan. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, yeah.
Yes, super shimmery. It's got him in a defensive stance. Says Sticky Fingers in the background. It's a fantastic card. And I had a shot at one at National. Should have bought it. I didn't. And now that's one thing at National that I kicked myself over not getting is that Sticky Fingers. It's $100 card. That's a big spend for me, but it's a really neat 90s card. And just it's MJ in a defensive stance, which it's just a little bit
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I agree.
yeah.
So 100%, I was Jordan rookie. I've been blessed with a Jordan autograph
Yeah.
from some great people in the hobby. So thankfully that one's checked off the list. And I remember how many years ago, the first ever high five, you asked me what the Grail card was. And so my answer for this next question, money, what product, was pretty
Yeah.
much the same. Like if I'm going for my Grail,
Mhm.
then I want to open the product
Yeah.
that has my Grail card in it. So my question to you, money's not an option.
Yeah.
What product are you ripping from any time, any sport? What are you ripping today? Are you going to be like me and kind of cheap out and pick the Jordan rookie box, or are you going somewhere different?
And money's not an option, but these are not like over the top expenses. Um, I would love to pull an '89 King Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie. So that I'd start there. A box of '89 Upper Deck Series 2, I think, had like a guaranteed Griffey in it.
Mhm.
Um, so I would definitely go that route just to pull that card. I just think that card is truly one of the most influential cards in the sports card history. I mean, it changed the face of the sports card hobby. Brought so many people in. Obviously, an iconic image, iconic player, one of the best of all time. So I think I would go that. I would start there. But if I was to say like I can spend anybody else's money, I would say 96, 97 Fleer Metal Series 2. Um, because number one, I love Fleer Metal. It's one of my favorite all-time products, but that class is the 84 class to 90s collectors. You got Kobe, you got Ray Allen. I could go down the list here. Stephon Marbury, Allen Iverson. You got Peja, you got Steve Nash, you got Marcus Camby. I mean, it's such a great Antoine Walker. Ron Mercer actually gets
Yes,
overlooked in
sir.
that class. Yeah. So I think that would just be such a fun rip for a 90s collector because of the impact that class made on the game of basketball. And it's a beautiful product.
It is. It is. And again, we go back to the 90s theme.
Yeah.
It's so hard to beat that 90s feel, that 90s
Yeah.
look. It's been 100 episodes, Kyle. K-Dub, sorry. Breaking the fourth wall there. It's been 100 episodes of the High Five. Uh, and so what has it taught you? What have these 99, now 100 episodes taught you about the sport card hobby?
Yeah, it's funny, man, to think back. Like when you and I first started talking, you kind of helped me kind of get this going, kind of a little brainchild that I had. And it started with just my buddies on Twitter that I never connected with in real life other than, through social media. And it gave me a chance to face interact with them. And then it really just kind of started snowballing until you and I were at the national, like, who are we going to talk to get on the high five? I mean, to that point where we can invite anybody, I feel like, on the high five, and it's an opportunity for them to talk. But 100 guests, 99 guests plus me. I've had collectors like yourself. I've had investors, Jeff Wilson. I've had card shop owners, Ryan, card collector too, Jimmy Mahan. I've had box breakers, Buck City Breaks. I've had Midwest Box Breaks. I've had flippers. I've had just straight up set collectors. I've had Nate Gunderson with 500 autos of one player. And when it comes down to it, the heart of the hobby stays the same. No matter what bankroll you're bringing, no matter what attitude you're having, we can all have this common joy, this common love in these silly pieces of cardboard with athletes' pictures on it. And I think that's what I've learned the most, that in these conversations, it all comes back to that, like the joy of the hobby. Like I like collecting cards. The people that come on this show, no matter what walk of life they're from, they like collecting sports cards. And I think that's it, man. That I've learned that no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, you can always find a commonality in the joy of collecting these silly pieces of cardboard.
It's beautiful. That sums it up perfectly.
Yeah.
And it would be a great, spot to end this, but I'm gonna rule break a little bit. We're
Bring it
gonna
on.
act like the 6 fingers. We're gonna add a little bonus question. I'm gonna put you on the spot for
Yeah.
like this is on the spot. your name, my name to an extent, Eric Hecker, our names are kind of synonymous with the rack. You know, we're I don't want to say that we're not the front runners or forebearers of the rack, but a lot of people kind of looked to us when it comes to a rack.
Yeah.
Random act of kindness for those that aren't really aware of what a rack is. So
Mhm.
putting you on the spot, and because I can, what is your favorite rack that you have either been a part of or that you've been the head of or put on yourself? It can be as little as a base card sent to somebody in a sales thread to something as big as just a grail card for somebody. Putting you on the spot, your favorite rack that you've ever been a part of.
Oh man, I don't know that I can answer that on the spot. But I can tell you a few that came to mind as I kind of read into this question a little bit. I love the rack that we did for Eric Norton when we got him that boxing. I think it was Ro- uh, what was the guy's name?
Marciano?
Marciano. Yeah, it was his like ringside rookie card. I
Mhm.
love that rack because he was on the high five. He shared that story. A dude reached out to me on Twitter and was like, "We got to make this happen." It was actually Coker. Coker messaged me and said,
Okay.
"We got to get this card," and it was a big card. And so I really feel like the value of it was took a lot. I think it took like three different groups to actually make that happen. But when he opened that, for him to look at it and just to see the excitement that he had, that was really cool. Another really cool one was when we got Kelly's card 768 on Twitter, Jackie Robinson card. It was raw, it was rough, and he opened that and he sends me pictures of it randomly, and he's like, "Hey man, I got this right above my desk. I was thinking about the rack, and I just appreciate what you guys did." That one was really really special. Um, but I would say one of my favorites is Ruth Tiska, Sue Tiska's mom, passed away, and the hobby community got her a custom 101 card of her mom, image of her mom, favorite image of her mom, with her good morning Twitter kind of hashtag on there. And I just think it was such a special thing because it took a lot of people to do. And then we were able to get her some flowers on top of that. And so I think that one will stand out in my mind for a long time because just because of the meaning behind it. And, Ruth was someone that I knew her. Like we talked on the phone. She would send kudos to my boys when they would have sporting events. So it was like it meant more than just doing something nice for someone because Ruth had impacted my life, and so it was almost like giving me closure as well as others as we did something nice for Sue. So those are three that jump out. But man, what an amazing thing that we get to do on Twitter X, where we can kind of ask, hey, who wants to do something nice? And 25, 30, 40, 50 people will say, we're in. And, we can go out and get a cool card or a cool item for someone just because either they need it in the moment or just because we saw it and we're like, it should be in their collection. So I'm thankful
Right.
for it. I know you and I have talked a lot about it, but it's really neat what we get to do on the hobby community.
Yeah, it's the best thing of what this whole community is about, or it is
Yeah.
giving back and the giving hearts in it. So that's all I got. This is your show. This is your episode. This is your moment. Congratulations on 100 episodes of the High Five. I'm gonna let you take us out.
Well, first, Mr. T Murph, you know what we got to do. We got a high
Gotta,
five at the end. High five. Boom. Hey,
right.
T Murph, Tyler Murphy at Hey It's T Murph on Twitter or X. One of the best dudes out there. He's got a great new hobby initiative, the Hobby Kid of the Month, where we're surprising a random kid in the hobby with a pretty awesome mail day surprise. So make sure you follow him. Also, subscribe to the channel, Dizzy Dub One. Follow me on Twitter or X at Mr. K-Dub. 100 episodes, 4 seasons in the books. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm excited for what's to come. So, Tyler, thanks for being a part of it, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank
All
you.
right. 100 episodes in. Y'all take care. That's season 4. We'll see you hopefully next season on K-Dub's High Five.